I'm going to be honest with you. I am kind of afraid of bald people.
Living in the desert, it just looks very thin, and it kind of emphasizes the fact that I'm losing my hair.
Sometimes when I make the bed, your pillow has some hairs on it.
You know how like people fly to Turkey to get hair loss surgeries? I'm definitely going to do it at some point.
Oh my.
Because I'm going to become bald.
Matt, you know what? I would love you with a bald head. I would like to kiss that shiny bare skull of yours.
I played pickleball against some senior citizens. I sent it a little too hard. I scraped my knee.
You're so intense.
I'm telling you, I go hard. I didn't want these senior citizens to beat me in pickleball. Everyone has been blown away by how jacked you look. What's your secret?
The only thing is that I'm consistent. My motivation for going to the gym is purely mental health. I just feel calm afterwards.
What's up, dudes? And welcome back to the Unplanned podcast. You guys, Abby smoked me in a push-up competition just like 2 weeks ago. I'm blown away by how many push-ups you can do. It is actually insane.
I was taking a break in between. Like at the end, I think I was doing like 5 at a time.
But still though, like place bets right now. Like comment down below how many push-ups do you guys think Abby did? I did 108. Okay? I feel like I can be proud of that number. Abby did 117.
Maybe I had bad form though.
No, you had great form.
Really?
You had really good form. That's really impressive.
Maybe it's because I'm like lighter than you. I have less weight to push up.
I think that you work out more than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
kind of
really
biting me in the butt. If I look weird on camera, if you're watching on YouTube, I literally cannot turn my head right now. I'm in so much pain because of the gym today. Which actually, it's not because of the gym. I mean, that's probably what set me over the edge, but I was already feeling like sore. Like last night we were playing game. We had family game night. We were playing code names with my parents and my brother and his wife. And I was like, who wants to rub my shoulders? No one took me up on it, but it was because like my neck and shoulders were starting to feel really, really tight, which happens frequently to me. I have a bad neck. I think I get it from my mom. And then sure enough, today at the gym, tweaked my neck.
I actually tweaked my neck last time at the gym that I did pull-ups too.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I don't know why that is, but sometimes just like on certain days,
yeah,
you can feel it coming on too.
Yeah,
like,
no, I could feel it coming on.
You know it's about to happen, and then always I'm so dumb. I'm like, I'll be fine, whatever. I'll be fine. And every single time, boom, and then my neck's like
no, it was
up.
like the first workout I did of the day too. Like right after the warm up, that was the first thing I did. And then I was like, I'm gonna finish the workout, but I like kind of modified some things because I didn't want to make it worse. But I asked the trainer afterwards. I was like, what could that have been? She's like, oh, I do that all the time too. It's really not necessarily something you did wrong. It's more as like if you had a knot, which I always get knots. If you sometimes some movements can like push it over, like move the knot. I don't know.
Doesn't it like get worse throughout the day? You know, like at first it kind of feels uncomfortable. Yeah, no, but it just gets worse and worse and worse.
It's gotten so much worse. Like I literally feel like if I allowed myself to, I could cry right now. It hurts so bad. I don't know what to do. Like
I'm so sorry.
I don't think I told you this yet. What are you doing tonight after the kids go to bed?
Probably rubbing your neck. Probably.
Actually, no. If you could just watch the monitors, I booked a massage.
Oh, you booked a massage for yourself?
Yeah, at 7:45.
Okay. Hey, yeah, I can do
was
that.
Like, if the kids are asleep, I don't think you didn't have anything on the calendar, so I was like, I'll run it by Matt, but I'm gonna first secure this time slot.
No, I'm glad you're doing some self-care. That's awesome.
Because last time this happened to me, which was literally earlier this year, I got a massage and it hurt really, really bad. It actually gave me a migraine, which we should also talk about that. I've been getting migraines. I'm falling apart. But I was getting a massage to get my neck back.
Yeah.
To get it back in place. What is it? Not in place, but so I could not be in crippling pain. And I got a terrible migraine as they were like working it out. So hopefully that doesn't happen tonight.
Yikes.
But I've been getting migraines too. Like I'm falling apart.
I'm so sorry. Migraines suck, dude. Migraines are the worst. Maybe like you need to figure out if there's something in your life that's causing migraines. Like maybe if you change... I know
exactly what it is.
What is it?
I forget to eat.
Oh, duh. Yes. That's definitely what it is.
But someone also commented and told me that it could be because I'm not like having enough sugar. Like I feel like in the first half of my day, like until dinner time, I really don't have hardly any sugar, and I feel like because I already run low on blood sugar. Yeah. I feel like it's dropping super low when I don't eat, and it's getting really I think that's what's causing it. Really low blood pressure or blood sugar. Because when I've gotten it tested before, they're always like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I feel fine." They're like, "Oh, you just have low blood sugar," and I think it gets drastically lower when I don't eat. So I've been really trying to have lunch. I just ate lunch right now.
How can we make sure that you eat throughout the day?
I got factor meals. That helped.
That's good.
Yeah, those are nice.
Maybe you could do like an alarm. Maybe you could like set an alarm on your phone. Remember when you used to be lactose intolerant and then I would carry around lactate
what
in my wallet?
happened about that?
I feel like it magically went away somehow for you, but you would always forget.
Does that mean that it was always in my head?
I don't think so. I feel like certain conditions like that can come and go, but I would keep Lactaid in my wallet at all times because you always forgot to bring it along with you.
That's you with Excedrin migraine now.
Yeah, I do. Like when we're going on a trip, I'm like,
switch.
I have to ask you, I'm like, did you pack your Excedrin? Because you always forget. And then we'll be in a situation where you have a migraine and there's no medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have always been a headache prone person. Even in elementary school, if I went to the nurse, they would take my temperature, and if I had a slight headache, it would be like, if your temperature's like 99 point something, they'll still try to send you home. My mom had to get a doctor's note for me so the nurse could keep ibuprofen in her office instead of sending me home every time I had like a 99-degree fever.
Gosh. Your mom, I feel like your mom, because she was a teacher, she probably found ways to work the system.
No,
like,
I think they're pretty serious about administering medicine, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, she probably did work the system in a couple ways. Here's the thing. As a kid of a parent that's a teacher, you spend so much more time in the school than anybody else that, like, it doesn't probably, like, a school building does not feel the same to you as it would for me.
And you always got to eat the school, like, breakfast and lunches, right? You did the breakfast, too.
Yeah.
Because I would do school lunches sometimes, but I never had breakfast at school. Like, didn't you just have a diet of waffles in the morning? Like, every single morning you just had...
I had school breakfast and school lunch every day. And, I mean, that was the good old days when you think about it. Like, I was eating... Okay, the main thing I loved at school, please tell me if other people had these, it was like a corn dog, but it wasn't a hot dog. It was like a breakfast sausage wrapped in a pancake, and you dipped it in syrup.
See, I never got into those. They
had them at your school, too?
They did. I feel like every school had those pancake wrapped sausage links in it on a stick.
Did you have the square pizza?
At some point, yes.
What about the smiley potatoes?
Did you have spicy chicken sandwiches? That was like at least in high school, that's what we had.
No. Oh, we had Nacho Supreme. In high school, I literally think about my diet in high school. I had Nacho Supreme. Oh, okay, imagine this. I was a Palmer, so if it was a game day, I was wearing my tiny little Palm uniform. And I would go and get Nacho Supreme, a double order. I would order a double Nachos Supreme. And eat all that and just be in my little tights and short skirt all day, and I didn't have a care in the world. I would probably still do that today. Just like eat whatever I want. I also ate I remember eating like the things I ate before I went to dance, where I was literally dancing in just like a little leotard. I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? I was just so carefree as a kid.
I was always complimented for how much I could eat.
Yeah,
like
same.
It was almost a competition for me. Like, how much food can I shove into my body?
It was a flex. Like, I remember my dad telling somebody, he's like, yeah, she ate a whole foot long. And I think I was in like first or second grade after dance practice. I apparently ate a whole foot long. I'm like, okay, cool. That was extreme. And then I felt kind of proud of myself.
Isn't it crazy now that prices have gotten so inflated that like for like the $5 foot long that used to exist when we were kids, you can't even get like a beverage sometimes for $5. You go to Cold Stone, you're dropping like $20 for you and your partner.
Yeah,
if you
I don't support that. Cold Stone's way overpriced. Every scoop they put into your Cold Stone ice cream is like over $1.
Yep.
And so even just a tiny scoop of sprinkles, $1. A tiny scoop of like, what's like the cheapest toppings for them? Like even just like a little scoop of mini chocolate chips, $1. So then it just kept adding up. It was so expensive. It's easy to do though when they price it like that.
Abby, on a lot of my videos on TikTok, on Instagram recently, everyone has been blown away by how jacked you look. They're like, wow, like she is fit. How do I look like her? And so I feel like this would be the perfect opportunity to ask you, how do you look so good? What's your secret?
This is why, do you know, I've been, first of all, very flattered. Let me say that first and foremost. That's very kind of y'all to say that. Second of all, I have not been trying to like keep anything a secret. There's so many reasons why I haven't like wanted to talk about it or like haven't been able to find out how to put it into words. The main reason being that I don't do anything special. I literally don't do anything special. The only thing is that I'm consistent. I'm consistent with exercise and I'm consistent with diet, but I don't follow any specific diet. I literally eat every single food. And I don't follow any specific workout routine other than I do burn boot camp most of the time. I
feel like you have good self-control when it comes to dessert, though.
But see, here's the thing. I don't even feel like I'm exercising self-control. Like I satisfy every craving I have, but I also just make sure that I'm getting well-rounded, nutrient-dense meals, if that makes sense. So then I don't find myself craving as much like things that don't have as much nutrition to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like I will have a well-rounded dinner, like last night, for instance. We had rice, shrimp, mango salsa, and then afterwards I was like, and I had an Olipop to drink with it. And so that was kind of sweet. So then I was like, I'm pretty satisfied because that meal filled up my tummy. It satisfied everything I wanted. I had like a little sweetness, a little savory. And then afterwards I was like, okay, well, I might have a little dessert. So I had a few Twizzlers and then I was like, fine. But I didn't feel like at any point that I was like restricting myself. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's my concern. Why Twizzlers? I feel like if you're going to pick a candy, that probably is the most nastiest candy.
No, I agree. Twizzlers are not good.
Why are Twizzlers a thing? Who actually eats those? My dad will eat Twizzlers and black licorice. I have never understood that.
Okay, but have you eaten a Twizzler?
Yes, and they're nasty.
Yeah, they don't taste good, but there's something addicting about them, right? Like you eat them and you're like,
no,
I gotta have another.
For me, that would be like, you know, the Airheads, like the sour strips. I
love those.
Those are
really
good. Like those, to me, I'm not a candy person, but I start eating those and like I can't stop.
Thank you to Article for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. You guys, the nook in our kitchen, like our little breakfast nook, has been completely transformed.
We got some cheap furniture like 2 years ago to put in the nook, and it was fine. Like it was it's chill, whatever. Abby got some Article furniture to go there. It looks unbelievable. It looks like it's out of a magazine.
Everyone that comes back in our house are like, whoa, that looks so much better. This table that we have, first of all, so sturdy. Amazing.
Stunning. And
it's beautiful too. They have such stylish designs. Their curated assortment of mid-century modern, coastal, industrial, Scandi, and boho vibes makes furniture shopping simple. They truly have all kinds, but I love how like they're trendy yet timeless. And here's the thing, I ordered that on Monday afternoon. It came Friday morning, delivered right to our door, and shipping is fast and affordable, whereas some of these major high-end furniture places, I'm just going to call you out right now, your furniture doesn't ship for ages and it's expensive.
I feel like there's some shady business going on.
And it's like, why are we waiting and sacrificing that experience when Article's affordable and just as good quality? I had such a great experience with Article, and I really think y'all should check it out. Article is actually offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. We should actually use that, honestly.
We should use
that. To claim, visit article.com/unplanned, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/unplanned for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
Well, you got Ryan Trahan's Joyride strips, and I ate those. Those were really good. But I don't know. I don't understand why licorice.
I just had that because it was around, because my mom got that for game night, and so since it was there, I was like, I'll try that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with workouts, I don't lift extremely heavy. I don't work out for more than 45 minutes to an hour. I just work out 5 times a week, and I really am flexible with it. Like if I need to do a workout somewhere else, I will. It's just more important that I stay consistent. And yeah, that's the thing. I don't have any specific regimen to sell anyone or any specific like plan I could easily package up and share with everyone. It's just that I know what works for me, and I know what is possible for me to be consistent with, and that's group fitness, because they have childcare that my kids love, first and foremost. Second of all, I love having a start time to a workout, so I'm like, I will be there then, and then that just helps with accountability. I love that it's 45 minutes, and some classes I do are an hour, but Burn specifically is 45 minutes, so I just like know that it's going to be jam-packed. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get a good workout. I don't want to think when I go to the gym. Like girls that go to the gym that just like figure out their own routine, I'm like, that's very impressive. It's not for me. It's not something that I could be consistent with. It's overwhelming. I don't know what to do in a gym, so I love group fitness because they tell us what to do. It's like my social hour. I have so many friends here. I have a new friend at the gym named Claudia. I love her. She just got chickens, and she invited us over so the boys can play
chickens?
with. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And so I just love getting to talk to other, mostly moms, but other women in general. And I love the community aspect. I think the workouts are fun.
Does Claudia live on a farm?
No, she lives in Gilbert.
Okay, how do you have chickens then if you're not on a farm?
Because it's Gilbert.
What?
You can have chickens in Gilbert.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I just have a lot of friends there. The kids love it. I love it. The only problem is that it is over 30 minutes away from my house. So that is a little bit of a bummer, and it takes a lot of time. But for me, here's the other thing that I want to tell you about. I truly work out not for a certain physique. That's where I think people are confused with me. Like, I appreciate people complimenting my body. A lot of that pretty much has to do with genetics, I would say. And obviously consistency in diet, it's multifaceted, but a lot of that is, what you're born with.
Yeah.
But my motivation for going to the gym is purely mental health. I obviously, of course, want to take care of my body and keep it healthy, so that's part of it too. So I shouldn't say it's purely mental health, but the biggest part is mental health. I enjoy it. It's fun, and I know that while it's hard in the moment, like, there's so many endorphins released when you're working out that I just feel like calm afterwards. Like,
that's nice.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way.
You don't feel that way?
I just feel like when I push myself too hard, I'm like, gosh, why did I do that?
No, I feel so much satisfaction. Like, I'm like, I just did that hard thing. Like, what a celebration of my body and everything that it can do. I feel strong. I feel powerful. I feel ready to take on the rest of my day.
See, I feel that way if I don't push myself too hard, but like the really competitive person inside of me sometimes pushes myself to this limit where, like, when I've gone to your group fitness class, right, like I've been there, and the coaches, they push you, right, like you get the workout done early and they're like, oh no, go back and do like 2 more rounds, just to mess with you, just to like play a reverse Uno card on you. So every time I've gone to your workout class, I walk out like I feel like crap. It's not like the good feeling that I get if I don't overexert myself.
You know what I think about you, Matt?
What?
I think you might not be in tune with your body.
That could be it.
That is why you want to eat like 7 cookies at once. You're like, how do you just have 1 cookie? And I'm like, because I'm in tune with my body.
Apparently it's an ADHD thing. Apparently people with ADHD have a dopamine, like a lower amount of dopamine, and by eating sugary foods you can like up it. That's what I've heard.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
I saw that in the comment section of something, so I don't know if that's exactly true.
Well, that's all I need to know.
It sounded pretty accurate to me.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. So it's probably true, honestly.
I'm sorry. Okay, so never mind.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying that you weren't in tune with your body, also in the sense of like not knowing your limits in a workout. But for me, I do kind of play it safe in a workout because I work out so often. I'm like, I don't want to hurt myself so much that I can't go the next day.
Yeah, I totally.
But that's also what's good about Burn is that their whole like workout regimen is like designed a week at a time, so it's designed really so you could do it every single day.
That's
and
nice.
not like exhaust any one muscle group. But I also did tweak my neck today, so that is something else to think about. But I've done that doing literally so many other types of workouts.
I'm so sorry.
And it was literally just my own body weight. I wasn't lifting weights. It was just doing a pull-up.
I've been afraid that
it's because of you, honestly. You gave me so much confidence.
So I played pickleball against some senior citizens about a week and a half ago, and they smoked me. They like absolutely crushed me. It was me and my buddy, and he's really good. Like, I came in thinking that I was going to be good because I played someone in pickleball a month ago and smoked them. And so I just had so much confidence thinking, wow, like I'm actually good at this game. Oh no. Like, showed up on a Saturday morning. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. So many people over 60 were just sending it. Like,
I love that.
Going so hard on these pickleball courts. And they demolished me. And it was during that game that I sent it a little too hard. I scraped my knee. So here, I'll show you guys my knee. I scraped it.
Oh my gosh, you never showed me that. I've seen that, but I didn't know where you got it from.
Yeah, I dived for the pickleball. And I
didn't know that was where you got that.
I scraped it. And so I ended up
hurting
so my knee. I'm telling you, I go hard. I didn't want these senior citizens to beat me in pickleball.
Matt.
And then I thought I tore my meniscus because this is the knee that I tore the meniscus on. Oh my gosh, what was this? 10 years ago? And it immediately started to like feel painful. It felt unsteady. It's been a week and a half. I haven't gone to the doctor yet. I probably should have. But it's feeling better. So I wonder if I just like tweaked something else that wasn't my meniscus, but I'm just keeping a close eye on it because I really do not want to get a surgery. Like you
should get that checked
I hate
out.
it. Like, I think there's very few times in my life that I've been like low key depressed, and that was one of them. Was when I tore my meniscus and I was stuck in bed for like 2 months. I just couldn't do anything because you can't walk.
That's hard.
Yeah. So. But, you get through it. You figure it out.
That is really tough.
Yeah.
Well, don't feel too bad because I feel like those senior citizens, while I'm proud of them, they have a lot of time to dedicate to working on their pickleball craft.
That did make me feel better because they did admit to me that they've been playing like every single day for 3 years. And I was like, I've only played this game 3 times. So it made me feel better about myself.
Don't beat yourself up too hard.
But it was also kind of cool because when you see older people just living life and doing their thing, you realize how much life you have to live. You know, like there's cool stages in every season. And I just love that. It was like all these senior citizens were high schoolers, you know, just mingling, and they had their cliques and their groups. And
were they flirting?
But they were all very friendly. I didn't see any flirting, but I'm sure it goes on. I'm sure that's a thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's such a interesting, I guess it's kind of like Golden Bachelor vibes where you're like,
I know. Right?
That's so, for some reason that weirds me out, but it shouldn't. Like,
I mean, they're just people too, right? We're all just humans at the end of the day. And I think we're all more alike than we are different. And people who are older, yeah, they've lived more life, but they still have the same wants and desires that us young people do.
No, I know. Well, also no, though, because like your grandma didn't want to remarry.
You know what's really weirding me out is I'm seeing kids graduate high school now that when I was like entering high school / in middle school, like they were itty bitty. Like I'm talking like pipsqueaks, okay? They were barely even potty trained, and now they're graduating high school, and it's really making me realize how old we're getting.
I know.
Right?
I know. Which is weird because I feel like if I were to if someone were to tell me how old are you, my knee-jerk reaction is to say 22.
Yeah, I would say 22 feels about right. It's like there's a 4-year gap.
But it's weird, Matt. Like this is gonna sound like overly romantic, but or like cheesy, but it feels like I'm trying to find a way of saying this that like puts it to words, but like my memories like start so vividly, or I guess there was such a big shift when we met. Like when we started dating, like it's like before we started dating and then like once we were together.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I could go back to that exact same mental state when I was 17 and know exactly how I felt then. But like 16, I'm like, I don't know. That feels young. But 17, I'm like, I was an adult.
You know what made me feel really old was I just saw this TikToker make a video like, come with me to set up my senior apartment, like my senior year dorm room or whatever. And like this girl was someone that we had followed on TikTok from 2020 when we first started, and we had seen her go into her freshman year, right? So now
wow.
like I've been out of school for that long. I've been out of college since 2020, and here this girl is like going to her final year. That made me feel really old because in my head I still feel like I'm college aged in a way, but I'm really not.
Well, if you were a super senior, you could still be in super.
There's people that go to college at 26. Happens.
Yeah, if people like served a mission or something after college, or after high school, then they'd probably be graduating high school or college around this time.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point.
Speaking of which, what do you think about the new show that's going to be coming out, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
Wow, I'm honestly interested in watching it. I think it'd be. What's your take on it? What's your take?
So I am definitely interested. Thank you to Rocket Money for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
Do you have subscriptions that you've been forgetting about? Because that was us. We had a lot of them. They
probably don't know if they've been forgetting about them.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah, you probably have a subscription right now.
That's the thing. You probably do. Because actually, basically, there's some crazy statistic about how much people think they're spending on subscriptions every month. And it's way more than what you think. And I know that was brought to light for us as well when we got Rocket Money. Rocket Money, if you don't know, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. If you're anything like me, if I have something that I know I need to do, but it's going to require a phone call or getting online and trying to remember my password and log in, it's going to stress me out, and I'm probably not going to do it, and I'm going to continue to pay the bill. And then I'm going to be sad because I wasted money. But Rocket Money is actually so user-friendly, you guys. Believe me when I say this. You literally just tap cancel subscription, and it's done. I don't know how they do it, but here's the thing. They do it for you, and it's so simple.
It's so simple that I was able to figure it out all by myself.
And here's the other thing. Rocket Money can actually negotiate your bills. Another thing that I don't know how they do, but they do it.
They lowered our security bill. We were overpaying. We didn't even know it.
We didn't even ask them to do it. They just did it.
I should have probably called up and negotiated our bill down, but Rocket Money did it for us.
Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/unplanned. That's rocketmoney.com/unplanned. rocketmoney.com/unplanned.
I've seen a lot of TikToks of people saying that they feel like the show doesn't represent Mormons overall.
Yeah, they're saying that, but they also haven't seen the show because the show's not released.
That's true.
But based on the trailer, I'm like, I can see where they're coming from.
I think probably the marketing, right?
Yeah.
I think like if you look at the marketing for the show and you look at
for sure.
how they're trying to hook people and get people interested, that's probably what it is. And I think people that are actually Mormon are saying, okay, like, I don't really agree with this. I don't feel like this is something that represents me and my beliefs. So that's what I've seen, like a lot of TikToks.
Well, I asked one of my friends who is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is my first sign. That's my first sign that this show isn't probably like representative of the majority of the members of the church, because they don't go by Mormon anymore.
Yeah, I think.
And they don't even go by LDS anymore. They officially go by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So,
well, I think they just say LDS because that's a lot simpler and easier.
I know, but they didn't even say
the Church
LDS
of Jesus
in the
Christ
title.
Of Latter-day Saints.
They didn't even say LDS in the title.
Yeah.
They said Mormon wives. So
well, you know
I
what
feel
they're
like,
doing? It's reality TV, so they're using that term for marketing purposes.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm using that as my data for understanding like how accurate they're trying. Obviously, it's a TV show and it's reality TV. I do feel bad for the members that are like devout members of the church.
Yeah.
And like how they could be like, this is actually very contradictory to like what our church preaches.
Yeah.
I can understand that, but then I can also understand these women that felt confined by their religious, I can see both sides.
Yeah.
But I just do think you need to be careful if you're going to use like the group's name.
Totally.
I guess they didn't really use the name though, like I pointed out earlier. I don't know. I'm interested to see it and to like learn more, especially because we're like mutuals with some of the people that are going to be on the show.
Yeah, you're right. We are. I know like Michaela Matthews is on the show. We've been mutual friends with her on TikTok. Mm-hmm. What's funny, you mentioned that reality TV show. I've been obsessed with Owning Manhattan recently. I don't know what it is, but it's a show on Netflix. It's similar to like Selling Sunset. It's like a real estate show where they're like, you have all these realtors and they're competing to sell, this expensive area of town.
Like $100 million.
It's just fascinating too, because like the show starts out and they're trying to sell a freaking penthouse for $250 million, $1 billion with a B. Like, can you imagine having the money to buy a house for $250 million? That's
crazy.
But what's crazy is the show ended and they weren't able to sell it because even a billionaire doesn't want to spend $250 million on a house. Like, it's just, no. Even to them, they're like, that's crazy.
Well, also, what kind of loan do you get for that?
I don't know. That's the other thing about the show.
Are they still putting $20 down?
I want to know who these people are that are paying cash for their real estate, because in the show, everyone's like, oh yeah, I know
$20 million
I know
cash.
The penthouse suite is for 20 mil, but like I can do 15 cash. I'm like, how do you have $15 million in cash? Like, did you sell your soul to the devil? Like, what?
You know what my theory is about those people?
What?
Is that they're looking for the next high. Because my feeling is that they have had, money is no object to them, clearly.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, well, why not? Like, maybe just buying this massive unit in New York City in prime real estate cash without seeing it. Maybe that's my next, like, thrilling high. And I feel like they're probably having a hard time, like, finding joy in more normal things than buying massively multi-million-dollar units.
But money actually does buy happiness. It's proven money does buy happiness up to a certain point. Like, once all your needs are met, you have food, water, shelter.
But what is that point?
Like decent health care. I want to say, I think the study that I saw a couple years back was like money. It's like up to like 70 grand or 100 grand. It's something there. Like, because
you have to explain that. You have to explain it.
Because essentially, like, if you have enough money to go on one vacation a year and pay your bills, go out to eat every once in a while, like do all these different activities that feel a little bit more on the luxury side of things, right? Like going on vacation every year, like that's, there's a lot of people that can't afford to go on a vacation, right? So like if you can afford to go on a vacation, that's a huge blessing. But like there's diminishing returns, right? So if you go on 2 vacations a year, okay, that's even more fun than 1. But as you add more and more and more, it just has less of an effect on your life. And eventually it kind of all feels the same. And so I think that's why with, I think truly that's why, like, you know, money does buy happiness up to a certain point, and then it doesn't anymore. Then it's like your needs are met. So truly at that point, happiness is just a choice of like, do you want to have a positive attitude? Do you want to, you know, like just live a good life and be a good person? Because I think there's a lot of things that can bring joy that aren't financially related, like, you know, volunteering, doing something for somebody else. I think those things can bring a lot of happiness and fulfillment into life.
That makes sense. Because if you're worried about like literally your family eating dinner at night, then I can see where money definitely would bring happiness and like peace, knowing that everyone's taking care of your family. But then yeah, like you said, excess is like what's not necessary. But I'm glad you explained that, because I think just saying money buys happiness is not exactly giving the full picture of what you mean. But I think it really boils down to its gratitude.
Yeah,
I feel like just being grateful for things gets you a long way. I just had a brain fart.
That's okay. We all have those, and that is totally normal.
I just think that being grateful like really helps you actually enjoy and appreciate what you have. So more isn't just more. It's like fulfilling.
What do you think about my new haircut?
I think it looks incredible.
I've got a fade.
What's her name? Jen, who does your hair?
Jen does my hair.
She's knocked it out of the park.
Jen intimidated me at first, right? Like she's a tough lady, you know, and she knows that. But she's super chill, and like we have a great conversation every time she cuts my hair. And I think she does a great job. So I keep going back.
Wow. Your hair is looking thicker. I know that you keep saying it's not true, but it does. It looks thicker. It looks very nice.
Do you know what it is? It's an optical illusion.
See, I don't believe you. I think it's actually thicker.
You think the medicine I'm taking is working to make my hair thicker?
Honestly, I don't think you're taking your medicine every day.
I actually do take it every day.
Okay, then I think your medicine's working.
I've done it every day for like 2 weeks now. So.
Okay, well, don't they say it takes like 6 weeks?
It takes like 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Or 5 or 6.
So let's keep taking it. No, I'm just kidding. I think it looks really good.
No, so what I did is I set my hair loss medicine out by the sink, so that every single morning when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm like, I got to take my hair loss medicine. And then I take my finasteride pill. I take, I've been taking, oh my Lord, I'm like literally blinking.
Molly-dextrin?
What the frick is the hair growth stuff that you take too?
Nutrafol?
Nutrafol. I take Nutrafol.
Oh my gosh.
It's like 4 horse pills. Those pills are so big, but I take those 4 every morning, and then I have this foam, this minoxidil foam that I spray. It's basically it's like not the off-brand, but the it's Rogaine. Like Rogaine was the big brand that made it popular, but basically it's just off-brand Rogaine. I rub it into my scalp. I put it on like my receding hairline, on top of my head. And it says to just do like a tiny little dot, but I put a crap ton of that stuff on my head. Like I'm definitely going to go through all that foam early. So I'll probably just have to order some extra. But that's what I do every single day for my hair.
Didn't someone give you a red light to use on your head?
I did. We went to a med spa like 3 months ago. I actually vlogged that on my TikTok. I got like a facial. We both got facials. It was kind of funny. But they gave me this like red light cap for my head that apparently can stimulate hair growth. I've never used it though.
It feels a little woo-woo.
I want to try it. I feel like that would be kind of sick to try. Like it's just like a bunch of red lights that go on your scalp and apparently can stimulate your follicles.
People lose me on some of that stuff sometimes. I'm like, I don't know about that. You find it fun though.
Did you know that by posting, I was like sharing about my hair loss journey, and I haven't looked into it. I need to look into it more. But some company in Turkey, you know how like people fly to Turkey to get hair loss surgeries? I'm pretty sure they're offering for me to come out and get one. That would be a freaking journey to fly all the way to Turkey and do that.
I think I would have other concerns other than just the journey to Turkey.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do we have to go to Turkey for that? Like what?
Well, okay, the thing is like...
Is it illegal in the U.S.?
No, I mean, hair loss surgery, you can get that done in the U.S., but apparently it's like 90% cheaper in Turkey. So there's a ton of companies that do it there.
Why is it cheaper?
Just because people in Turkey are willing to charge less than they do in the United States.
But why are they willing to charge less?
I don't know.
I feel like we need to get some questions answered before we ship you off to Turkey.
Maybe we should do some research on this first. But a lot of people do it. Like there's actually TikToks of all these dudes loading up into like an airplane, and they all have like bandages on their head after they got their surgery. And
I'm happy for them, but I don't think you need to do that. I think your hair looks amazing.
I'm definitely gonna do it at some point.
Oh my!
Because I will lose. I'm gonna become bald.
Matt, I would love you with a bald head.
I would not love me with a bald head. I would
like to kiss that shiny bare skull of yours.
That's the thing. I think I would just feel old with a bald head. Like I would love to always have hair.
You could get bald and jacked.
I could do that, but that requires a lot of working out, and I don't know if I'm capable of being that consistent at the gym.
Yeah, well then maybe you should. Actually,
then I would look like Mr. Clean.
I'm going to be honest with you. I am kind of afraid of bald people.
And that's also part of it. I feel like you would probably be afraid of me if I was bald.
I would. But do you know why I'm afraid of bald people?
You're afraid of bald people because when you were a little kid, you babysat for a family, and the dad yelled at you when you left their house because he thought that you did something wrong, which was crazy. I want to go. I need to go fight this dude.
The whole story. Thank you to Lumi for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
Do you smell? Because if you do, you might want to check out this product we're about to talk about.
There's only so many hours in the day, and if I'm going out to go to the gym, I'm going to also want to check off a couple things on my to-do list if I can. And almost always I'm either doing an activity with the kids or running to the store or doing something, and I'm covered in sweat. And I do it after the gym because I don't have time to go home and shower, because then it's going to be nap time and I can't get out again. So I'm really thankful to Lumi's deodorant wipes. I literally just keep them in the center console of my car, whip it out like a baby wipe, but put it on the stinky areas, like your armpits, your face, things like that, to just kind of cleanse yourself up, get yourself smelling a little better so you can re-enter society and not look like a total disaster. Lumi has many other products. They also have deodorant. They have this whole body deodorant, which is pretty genius. Unlike certain other deodorants, Lumi is powered by mandelic acid to deliver outrageous 72-hour odor control everywhere from your pits to your feet, and yes, even your privates. In fact, it was a patient's concerns about private part odor that originally inspired the OBGYN who invented Lumi. Fast forward 6 years, and her game-changing whole body deodorant has now earned over 300,000 five-star reviews from people like me who love feeling confident from head to toe. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes, which I recommend, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. That's code UNPLANNED for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code UNPLANNED at LUMEDEODORANT.com. I was 14 and babysitting. I started babysitting when I was like 12, barely older than the kids I was babysitting. Yeah. So I obviously couldn't drive there. And so I was babysitting for this girl who was very, very well behaved. Obviously, she wasn't much younger than me because I was 14. She was probably like 9.
Yeah.
And they told me her bedtime, and it was getting close to that time, and I was like, hey, do you want to go to bed? She's like, yeah. She was very sweet. And so I trusted everything she said. She's like, oh, and I was like, okay, I'm going to turn the lights off. She said, oh, my parents let me read in bed sometimes, but as long as I'm in bed by my bedtime, then they're okay with it. And so I was like, that checks out with me. Like, that seems right. And so I shut the door, the lights on, get home, or the parents get home. And the dad's like, why isn't she asleep? And he's like all mad at me. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And I didn't want to get her in trouble. So I was just getting all flustered, and he was pretty angry, and it scared me. And then the worst part is that obviously I couldn't drive. So he had to drive me home. And it was like probably a 6-minute drive. It's a small town, but it felt like 60 minutes of him yelling at me. And I'm stuck in this tiny car with him, and I was very scared. It was basically a strange man yelling at me. And that was like scarring. I got into my house. I was like sobbing. My dad got on the phone with this guy and ripped him a new one.
I'm surprised that your dad did that, because your dad's a very shy guy.
He is, but he is a papa bear to the extreme. If it gets to the point where like he thinks that someone is like
hurting
a member of his family, like one of his own, he gets extreme. Like, we got kicked out of a t-ball game.
Oh my gosh.
Because some ump said something to my mom that my dad thought was disrespectful. We got thrown out of there. I was mortified. I was literally like, I can never show up in this town again. Yeah, so my dad ripped that guy a new booty hole.
I feel
and
like
I
that's
never
pretty bad.
babysat for him again.
If you're getting thrown out of a t-ball game, that's pretty bad.
Really?
Yes.
Because my papa got thrown out of a lot of games.
Oh my gosh. Actually, Blake's t-ball, your little brother's t-ball games, your grandpa got thrown out.
No, my dad's game. So, but get this. Since my papa was an identical twin,
Okay.
one time they threw out his brother thinking it was him.
Oh my gosh.
And so papa got to stay and Jerry was like, that's how the story goes.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, that's why I'm afraid of bald guys. So maybe if anything, just get a toupee so I don't have to live in fear every single day of my life.
I feel like that would be uncomfortable to wear though. To glue,
no, Matt, I've seen
glue it to the top of your head, right?
No, I bet it's something that you just go blind to, you know?
I don't know.
Like that's like me with my fingernails. Like it sounds weird to glue fake tips on your nails. I go blind to it.
Anywho.
But I saw those videos too. There's a toupee queen on Instagram, and she literally just fixes toupees on people's head. People that you never would have thought have a toupee have toupees because they've gotten good at them.
You know what I'm going to do
but then
is...
what if you want to scratch your scalp?
The thing that I've realized is I just need to get a haircut every month. Because used to, I would get a haircut every 2 months, maybe every 3 months, and it would just get long and messy. And it looked better when we lived in Missouri and then moved to Hawaii because those were both very humid places. Like my hair would, with the humidity, it would get kind of big. Like it would get kind of curly. It would have like it'd have some style to it, you know? But living in the desert, it just falls flat and it just looks very thin and wimpy and not full. And it kind of emphasizes the fact that like I'm losing my hair as a man with male pattern baldness. So I think
is there a female pattern baldness?
There probably is.
Also, is it okay if I scrunch like this a little?
Yeah, you can. Are you doing that for your neck?
Yes.
Your neck's hurting, so you're gonna like sit back. That's okay.
Just a little bit.
Sit however is comfortable for you, honey.
No way is comfortable. There's literally no comfort in this.
I'm just gonna get haircuts every month.
I'm afraid of bald people. That's why that's why my dad got kicked out of my t-ball game.
I just don't want my wife to be afraid of me, so I'm gonna go get this this surgery at some point.
But here's the thing: is I feel like it'd be okay if it happened slowly.
No. I don't really want that.
I'll be honest with you, Matt. Sometimes when I make the bed in the mornings, your pillow has some hairs on it.
I know. I'm sure it does. That's and it's gonna keep happening.
But do you see the kind of hair I have in the shower?
I am jealous of the hair that you have. You have such good
hair. No,
I'm
talking about the hair falling out in the shower.
Yeah, but like you have the thickest hair. Like your hair is so thick, it's so full.
Thank you.
You're very lucky.
I'm hairy everywhere, though.
I think that's a good thing.
Well, that sounded really creepy. I got laser hair.
Oh my god!
Because I was hairy. Oh my gosh. Well,
so you went to go. Oh yeah.
I was going to ask the same thing that you were about to say.
Oh, okay.
We have telepathy. You asked to see It Ends With Us with me.
I did.
And what did I tell you?
And you told me that you cried in the movie theater.
Well, yeah, but I also said I don't know if I can watch that again.
Because it was so heavy.
Back to back, because it was so heavy. I saw it with my girlfriends, aka my mom and my 2 sister-in-laws, and it was like really fun. Also, my mom is so extra; she's so fun, but she knew we were going to this movie, and she's like, "I'll pack snacks." So she snuck in these bento boxes from Amazon that she ordered just for this purpose, and each little container had a different type of snack in it, which is so my mom. If you know Lori, that is literally that explains her perfectly well. But it did make it so much more fun. She passed the boxes down the line to all of us, and it was really fun. But the movie itself.
What is up with mom sneaking in snacks to the movie theater?
I also don't know how she snuck that in because they were huge. I'm like, what did she carry that in? Like, they surely wouldn't have let her take a backpack. Maybe.
Comment down below. Did your family sneak snacks into the movie theater, or were you the family that would always buy popcorn and soda? Because my family would never buy stuff at the movie theater ever.
Did you even go to the movies?
I did. I actually did, but we'd go like when it was cheap, like if it was like a $5 movie night or something. Like my mom was always about those deals. But yeah, I mean, it was never a thing to buy food. So I remember when I went to go see Clash of the Titans when I was in like 7th grade, I got a slushie and I paid like $7 for it, and it was like a really special thing because we just never did that. And my buddy got popcorn, and so I was able to eat his popcorn. He had like the refillable type, and I was just stoked because that was something that we never did.
That was something when we started dating I had to adjust to, because yes, my mom snuck it in snacks, but we were also like we would get snacks too.
And I think me as a Howard, like we've had this conversation with my brother and my sister-in-law, right? Because both the Abbeys, you guys were just like, what the heck's going on with our men not buying
in every
movie theater
relationship,
popcorn?
and every relationship, there's the person that sneaks in snacks to the movies, and then there's the person that buys the movie theater snacks, and then they find each other and get married, and then have to figure it out. Which is funny because I don't even really like microwave popcorn. I only like the movie theater popcorn.
I just thought that's what everybody did. I thought everyone knew that it was so expensive at the theater that you never pay for the popcorn.
But didn't you see people at the theater eating popcorn?
I did, but I was just like, they're stupid.
Oh, really?
But now I'm that stupid person. I'm the idiot that's dropping $10 for a bucket of popcorn.
I didn't buy any snacks though at the movie because my mom packed me a bento box, which is hilarious because I'm 25. But it was really fun, like the actual experience of going to the movie with them. But the movie itself, really heavy. Like afterwards, I was like, "Oh, I need to like decompress."
I just want to know the margin on the movie theater popcorn.
Oh my gosh, you're still thinking about the popcorn.
They're probably spending like 10 cents on that bucket of popcorn.
Actually, a kid that went to my high school was a manager at the AMC, and he got to take home popcorn in trash bags.
Wow.
And sometimes he would bring it to school the next day, and we got to eat that popcorn.
I mean, it's dirt cheap. It's literally just some corn kernels. It's
not as good the next day.
Some butter, some salt.
Think about that, though. He was a manager at AMC as a high school student.
That's crazy. Yeah. Good for him.
I know. His name was Colin.
Why did you look weird when you said Colin's
Because when you're
name?
from a small town, you just know like everyone's it's gonna get to somebody.
If you're listening to this, tell Colin hi for us.
No.
There's somebody from your town that's listening to this podcast right now.
I'm just kidding. Tell them hi.
Tell Colin hello, and tell him that we're proud of him for being a manager at AMC when he was in high school. Okay, but why would you seriously can't watch the movie with me again? Like if I want to watch it,
I could definitely watch it again, but I'm like not as much looking forward to it just because it was so heavy.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like I knew going into it because I read the book before Griffin was born. I was prepped and it was still heavy. Like just watching it is like a lot.
I know that DV is something that happens in the.
Yeah, that's basically, I mean, that's what it is. That's why it's heavy. But I think the thing that was really cool about the movie is that, like, obviously it's a fictional situation, but this happens all the time, unfortunately. But what's interesting is that, like, through the movie, you get to see how women end up staying in those bad relationships because, for instance, like, he tells her sometimes he's like, it's an accident, or, like, I didn't mean to do that, or sometimes he's like, he would say like, I'm gonna get better, like I'm gonna go to therapy, I'm never gonna do this again, like make these promises. And other ones are like, I don't know, basically you just, well, and you also see how they get more and more tangled in. Like you have a kid together, you have plans for marriage, you have other friends involved that you don't want to tell, like hurt their image of him, you know, things like that. You kind of just see, because sometimes you hear about what happens in horrible, unhealthy relationships and you're like, why is that person staying? Like, when are they going to wake up and realize? But then you see in this movie how it's a slow progression sometimes, and how there's so many of these other factors that kind of like twist their reality and their perception that make them want to stay. And it just gave me so much more compassion for those people, you know?
Yeah, I don't think anybody goes into a relationship thinking that they're going to encounter abuse. Like, that's never something that someone is willingly signing up for, you know?
And something else the movie, this is why it's called It Ends With Us, something else the movie shows is like how it is easy for that type of violence to be generational, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like her as a child witnessed that type of relationship in her parents.
Okay.
And so then when warning signs and red flags were happening in her own romantic relationship, she didn't identify those and get out.
Yeah.
Because that was her model of a relationship also, is basically just fitting her same model.
Yeah.
And then she decided when she had her daughter, it ends with us. That's why it's called that.
Way.
Yeah. And so she ended that relationship.
No way.
Which I feel like that's a spoiler, but also
you
so many people.
You literally just spoiled the whole movie for me.
So many people have seen the movie at this point.
Wow. Okay. Now I don't even want to go.
It's in the title. Thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
Do you hate driving 30 minutes to go to the doctor's office and then waiting in the waiting room forever?
Yes. What I actually hate more than that is making the appointment and trying to figure out where to go. Am I supposed to go to a family doctor, a OB, or a mental health specialist, or a psychiatrist, or I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to go with this issue. Urgent care?
But with ZocDoc,
Ambulance?
you can literally do your doctor's appointment from the convenience of your home by using a smartphone, a computer, iPad, whatever the heck you want to use.
Yes.
You can do it. And I know this because Abby set it up for me so that I was able to get my ADHD screening.
Yes, and you passed.
I passed. I have ADHD.
Or you failed. I don't know. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments sometimes, which that is huge. I can't tell you how many times I've been tried to be seen by a provider and they're like, try next month. Like, it's not like short wait times most of the time. So the speed and the simplicity with which ZocDoc takes care of things, really relieving, honestly, because that's just one step of adulting that still eludes me at times. So I use ZocDoc and you should too. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/unplanned to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/unplanned. ZocDoc.com/unplanned. Also, the acting in it was exceptional.
Really?
Haven't seen that good of acting in a movie in a long time.
I'm excited now. I'm stoked.
It's not a romantic comedy though. And I feel like that's where people are like kind of upset nowadays.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's definitely did not give rom-com girls' night vibes.
Gotcha.
It gave like heavy, deeper conversations vibes. Like afterwards I was like, whew. It wasn't one that I'm like gonna easily pop on and like listen to as background noise, if that makes sense. That's for like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, yeah.
This one does not fit in that same category. There was no comedy in it. It was just drama. Except there were some people laughing in the theater and I found it inappropriate. I was like, why are they laughing? Yeah.
Okay, when you're in a movie theater, right, and something happens, like, are you the type of person that's gonna like cheer or clap? Because some people do that, especially if you're at like a midnight debut. That's a thing. Like people get excited.
I know people are doing that in this movie theater. They're like, oh, what? Like there's like so many audible reactions, which I'm like, I think it's fun. But sometimes I was like, that was inappropriate. Like I don't think that was funny.
I always feel weird. Like I feel like I can't do it because deep in my head, I'm like, this is just a movie. It's literally just on a screen. It's not like it's live theater,
I can
right?
see you getting into it like that.
Really?
Yeah.
But when it's live theater, then I feel like you need to interact more because if the people on stage are begging you to interact with them,
I want to see a live show.
We got to go back to New York. I love New York.
Let's do it.
We got to make it happen.
There's an easy flight that's direct.
I know.
But yeah, the other thing though is when I saw It Ends With Us, there was like probably like a 10-year-old, 9-year-old girl, maybe
Really?
11. 9 to 11 was the age range I gave her.
Crazy.
That was not a movie I would take that kid to. Maybe the parents didn't know, but also it's kind of your job as a parent to like look into a movie, especially because it was PG-13. It was PG-13, but like it's crazy that PG-13 isn't that like what Spider-Man's rated?
Yeah.
This movie was not in the same category. Like this one was so much heavier.
Okay, question for you about that.
What?
Because with the topic of age-appropriate things for kids, we were at the park yesterday. I took the boys to the park, and somebody was playing music that it wasn't like cussing every word, but there were some songs that came on that had some curse words. That. And it was like I'm guessing these kids were probably like freshmen in high school.
Yeah.
And they were playing at the park too, which they're freshmen. I get it. They're kids. They're young. They
just want some independence.
They're trying to be independent from their parents. Like I'm sure none of them can drive. So them like riding their bike to the park is like cool and fun for them to hang with their friends. But we're at a park that's for like little kids, right? Yeah. Like it's supposed to be, it says 12 and under. Yeah. These kids were not 12. Like they were probably 14, 15, maybe one was 16. I don't know. But like there was other parents there and nobody like went up to them. And I was like, do I go up to these kids and ask them kindly to leave? I didn't want to start something. Like I didn't want to be that weird person. But again, I'm like, you guys are like playing trap music at a park where like I just have my 1-year-old and 2-year-old trying to like just swing, you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't do it. I didn't want to like embarrass them or make them feel uncomfortable. But at the same time, I was like, if my kids were older, right? Like, especially if they're 5 and they can fully understand every word that is being played out of that music. Like, I don't want them, you know, I don't want to surround them with something that I don't think they're able to handle at that age.
Well, especially that's at a public place too. Like, that's a little in a park, which is like for children. I can see that more. But the fact of it is you can't protect your kids from that stuff.
Yeah, you can't protect your kids from everything.
Yeah.
But
that's tough. I definitely wouldn't have said anything, but I don't. If a parent chose to in a polite way, I wouldn't think they were in the wrong.
And also, like, I will say, I probably won't be as strict with like cursing as my parents were. Like, I don't think it's okay at all to be mean to someone or rude to someone. I think it's more so like your intent, less than the words. Obviously, I don't want our little kids saying anything. Like, I don't want our kids cussing. No.
Sometimes even saying stupid in front of them feels wrong.
I know. And so I feel like
crap.
I feel like you have to, when they're younger, you kind of need to enforce like, hey, we don't say stupid. We don't say crap. Like when they're little, right? Mm-hmm. But like if I have a teenager who's like 17 and they're cussing, as long as it's not like having a negative attitude or like being rude or mean to someone, I don't know. Like if they had stubbed their toe or hurt themselves and they let a word slip, I don't think I'm going to get on them for that. But I feel like that's something that I would have gotten in trouble for at that age. Does that make sense?
I mean, I get what you're saying. I think it boils down to a respect thing, like saying that word in front of your parents as a kid is disrespectful, I think.
Do you want to have more of like a friendship dynamic with our kids, or do you want to make it very clear like, I am mom, I am dad, you know? Because I feel like you and your mom were kind of best friends.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I think I'm still figuring that out. I think it's very easy for me to slip into the friend side of things.
I kind of want to find myself in the middle because I feel like you were kind of buddy with your parents.
Yeah.
And with my parents, it was very much like we're mom and dad and you're the child. I think there's benefits to both.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to find the happy medium.
Yeah, that's true. But here's the other thing. I got in trouble. Like if I disrespected my parents, I definitely got in trouble. And it was like, you cannot speak to me that way. Like, so even though we were buddy, they definitely drew that line. It wasn't more until I was like, obviously we started dating. I was in my late teens.
Yeah.
And then as an adult, you're only seeing the adult side of things. Whereas like a kid, like I knew, for instance, I was not allowed to interrupt my mom when she was talking to another adult.
Yep.
Like that was like a no. Like she would literally stop and be like, excuse me, I'm talking right now. Like she would. So then when other kids would like go up and like interrupt their parent when they were talking for a non-emergency thing, I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to get in trouble. And like they didn't. And I was like, whoa. But that is something I'm like, that I just think about that sometimes. Like I knew I wasn't allowed to do that. And I knew I wasn't allowed to like, oh my gosh, one time we were just talking about this last night, but I like did my hand like this, like blah, 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 when my mom was talking to me.
Yeah.
Instantly in my room, like in trouble.
Cannot believe you did that.
I know. That was so sassy of me. The other thing I said was, duh, when I was trying to be really sassy. But I think I got that from Lizzie McGuire. So honestly, we need to be careful what our kids are watching.
Our kids.
And because of Lizzie McGuire, I called my brother a maggot.
Our children will not be watching Lizzie McGuire. No, I'm sure that's a lot cleaner than some stuff today.
I know, but my mom didn't want me to watch it because she was fighting with her younger brother.
Oh,
and so she thought that was a bad example.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was pretty sheltered as a kid.
Abby, how do you feel about your best friend getting married? Because we're about to fly back to go see your friend get, like, and my friend too, but your best friend from
That's sweet that you said my friend too. Yeah, my childhood best friend. We were best friends since like 4th grade. And when I say like best friends, like we had sleepovers every weekend, like hung out all the time. I know her. You know those friends? I feel like this is like we might be like one of the last generation or last like generations. We definitely are that would memorize their friends' home phone numbers.
Yeah.
I could repeat it to you right now. I know both my best friends' home phone numbers.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, and so she's like that friend that I like know her home phone number. I could text her mom and like I just remember like always pulling out her trundle bed and like that was my bed to sleep on over the weekends.
I'm
and
guessing
like,
you could go to her house and just eat anything out of their pantry.
Their pantry. They had the best cereal. They always had the freaking Eggo waffle cereal.
Wasn't
I don't even know if they still make that.
Going over to a friend's house and seeing what they have in their pantry because
yes,
it's always different stuff
snacks
than what your mom bought, and you want to see what their snacks were.
Yeah, their snacks were better. Or like, oh my gosh, I had one friend whose mom would get them the mini Gatorades.
That's amazing.
I was like, okay, bougie.
One of my friends, he played video games a lot, and we all did like a video game night at his house. And he had Code Red Mountain Dew and birthday cake Oreos. It was the best.
That is so crazy to be feeding your like 12-year-old Code Red Mountain Dew.
Well, we were 13. You know, we were pretty mature for our age. You know, very grown up. And yeah,
that sounds like a nightmare.
We played Call of Duty in the basement till like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Oh my gosh, our boys are gonna be 13 at one point.
That's only 11 years away from Griffin. We're gonna have Griffin playing video games.
The fact that they're gonna become
But
men.
here's the thing, Abby. We don't have basements in it. Like nobody has a basement in Arizona. So what's up with that? Like we grew up with basements, right?
Yeah.
Like where are our kids gonna hang with their homies?
I don't know, but I mean, our sister-in-law made a good point. It might be not a bad thing because I feel like nothing good ever happened in the basements.
I don't know, but then if you're an overbearing parent, I feel like you create an environment for your kid to want to rebel against you, right? Like if you're too strict on them while they're in the house, as soon as they're out of the house, they're gonna go crazy. Like they're gonna do some wild stuff.
Okay.
And I've seen that happen.
Man, I guess we better get a basement.
We better figure this out. Yeah.
No, I think we just need to have a separate living space for them where they can like play video games and like have their own hangout time.
And just have a camera in there to monitor everything.
Exactly,
they do to make sure they don't
monitor.
do anything inappropriate. Yeah, exactly.
Just monitor their screen time, monitor their conversations.
That's crazy. I'm excited for the wedding. I can't believe she's getting married.
I am stoked to go back to where we went to college, where we got married, kind of, where we spent our first years as newlyweds.
That'd be good.
Actually, first 6 months. No. I'm sorry, a year and 6 months.
I'm excited. You know what's crazy?
What?
Is the town that we went to school at for college is literally the same place that the new pop artist that's blowing up right now, Chappell Roan, she's from Willard, Missouri.
I substitute taught in Willard.
If you look at her music video for, I think, you know, the H-O-T-T-O-T-O.
Wait, how old is she?
She's our age. She's 26. She's my age.
Okay, so I definitely did not substitute teacher.
Yeah, you did not. But what's crazy about her is her music video is like showing Springfield, and the Galois Theater that we like always went to is in her music video.
Oh my.
Right? Crazy.
We'll have to check it out. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, anyway.
I kind of live under a rock.
Well, you guys, thank you for tuning back in for this episode of the Unplanned podcast. We'll see you next time.
Peace out, dudes.
Peace out, dudes.